All right, today we are going to be talking about more Castles and Crusades. And what we're going to do today is we are going to complete the character, then we're going to skip magic, and we're going to talk about the Castle Keeper section. And why am I beeping? I have turned every notification on this phone off and it still beeps at me. What the hell? It's probably an Amber Alert for me. But we're going to talk about...
Not for you, about you.
It probably... Hey, shh. Thank you. But my wife took the phone from me. But anyway,
your wife's Asian. She looks like a kid. Whenever someone sees you out with her, they're like, "Oh God, Amber Alert!"
Right. We're going to talk today. We're going to talk, like I said, we're going to talk about finishing up the character, the quick stuff with the cumbrance, alignment, so forth, and then we're going to talk about the Castle Keeper section because it's pretty small in this book because there's a Castle Keeper guide. And then next week we'll talk about magic, and then the week after we'll talk about combat. And then we'll be done with Castles and Crusades. So don't forget, this is a live stream podcast discussion, not a concise step-by-step tutorial. We'll probably deviate, interrupt each other, go off on random topics, and talk about things that aren't literally on the page sometimes. And of course, you can follow us here, there, and everywhere. People have been starting to take a more interest in the Redbubble goods. I like that. Thank you very much. I think it's because I put a coupon code out there. And of course, you can follow the website, Odysee, YouTube, Twitch, PayPal, and Streamlabs if you want to donate to us. And hey, why has this got the wrong picture?
Because you're lazy.
Bad. That's the right picture. We have now added another game. We are giving away 5 games for our 3,000 subscriber giveaway. Plus, us as we gain more monies, we will do gift cards. So a little bit for everybody. And for anybody who asks, no, we are not shipping overseas. Sorry, but... now that I live in the States, that's just not in the cards.
Okay, I will say it again. The 100,000 subscriber giveaway. It is real. He won't put it up there, but it is real.
Yeah, I won't put it up till we get a little closer. Just a little.
Till we get a little closer. It will be a 3700X processor, a B55 motherboard, a Vega 64 Sapphire Nitro video card, 2 SSD hard drives, one of them 240 gig, the other one terabyte for storing games, and 16 gig of RAM. Probably 3200 megahertz, I believe, because that's what the 3700X likes. And it'll be in a the case is right here. I forget what it's called. Hang on.
Look at this. His giveaway prize is now touching oxygen. It's forever damaged.
Thermaltake V21 case, if you want to look that up. As a matter of fact, I'll do that. I'll do it right now. I'm gonna put it up as a picture.
The people watching on YouTube later are gonna be like, "When does this stupid review start?" Whenever.
It starts whenever, man. I told you we were gonna go off tangent. I just want to make it true.
If it's on the internet, it's real.
There it is.
That's why anytime I make up a word, I say it on the internet. Therefore, it becomes reality. So while he's looking for that,
I got it.
Oh, he found it.
I'm going to put it up. I'm going to share it.
Okay. You do that. 100,000 subscribers. You can get us there, I don't know, within, I think, a month if...
there it is.
If you guys really try.
That's the case. It is a box. It is square. It is pretty looking. It's got a whole lot of airflow. You see this this panel right here? It can be replaced with mesh if you want. You can change the panels to either side. Since all the sides are the same dimension, you can change how the panels go if you have a downward drafting.
Is it Windows 11 compatible? Because my computer is not.
Well, the B55, the B550 motherboard is Windows 11 compatible. Yes. But if you have a downward draft cooler, you can put the mesh on top. If you have a side draft cooler, you can put the mesh on the side that will get fresh air. So yes, it's extremely cool. All right. Let's remove that. Get that out of there.
Let's go back to. All right, let's talk about what we're supposed to be talking about.
All right.
And you got the one thingy up. Good. So, pretty much what we talked about last week, where we talked about the races. Before that, we talked about the classes. Now we're just going to complete the character and see what else we can add to the character, what the game suggests we add to it. And I'll start here with...
Well, hang on. Before you start, I want to say that persona and alignment is pretty much taken care of already. This part is just telling you to write it down. I don't know why they went to all this trouble to explain it. If you followed the guidelines for making your character put into this book, the book told you, or the book read that before you choose your race in your class, picture what your character wants to be, what you want your character to be, how you want to act, pick your race and class accordingly. If you've already done that, you already know your persona and you already know your alignment. This is just helping you write it down. That's it. So go ahead and
Okay. Well, let's talk about the nine possible alignments, because there are some descriptions here in how Castles and Crusades handles it.
that is true.
Of course, you have the typical law and chaos axis, and you have the good and evil axis. So it says lawful good characters. This alignment are dedicated to following the strictures of society, respecting law and order. They act for the benefit of others in society, placing great value on truth, honor, and life. It's pretty vague, but in a necessary way. I like the fact that it talks about strictures of society, respecting law and order. I always get a little hung up on the law and order thing, because some people are like, well, I have to follow every single law. Then no, there's moral codes and so forth as well that go in. You don't have to. You're going to have a hierarchy of laws. If you're a paladin, your church comes first.
Exactly. If you're a paladin or a cleric, God, church, law. There you go. If a law goes against God or the church, F that law. That's done. God or church comes first.
Lawful neutral. This is the alignment I always like to be, but I never get. Or is it the other way? No, actually, I do get this. It's you that gets chaotic evil. I thought I got... No, I always want to be chaotic good. I always get lawful neutral whenever I take any type of alignment test. Characters with this alignment place primary importance on the ultimate order, structure, and regulation of behavior. See, I don't believe in that, but I do believe in decorum, and somehow that comes out and as lawful neutral for me.
Yeah, this is absolute letter of the law. Doesn't matter who it hurts, doesn't matter who it helps. The law is everything. I mean, this is Judge Dredd.
But I like that the words order and structure come before regulation. Now, I'm parsing in a very, very legalese sense here, but or regulation of behavior.
Yes,
this is your good order and discipline. Doesn't mean you follow the laws necessarily if the law doesn't apply good order and discipline. But you're going to lean towards the law. Good and evil are largely irrelevant for characters of this alignment because everything flows well there from the order of laws. Never mind. It says it right there. Yeah, so
it doesn't matter if what's going to happen is good, what's going to happen is bad. If it's what the law says, that's it.
So I take back what I said a moment ago. Lawful evil characters with this alignment value structure and order, and they place no limit on attaining it, especially if the goal is to their own benefit. They do not value life or concern of others. Ultimately, they seek to impose their ideals on others through strict regulation.
Well, I read that as loophole manipulation.
Yes. You
have to follow the law, but the law is vague in some areas, and you can get ahead by going through the cracks of the writer's intent.
And I mean, it is pretty vague in some regard here, but it has to be because, and people get hung up on it. A lot of times people go, this doesn't need to be in the book. Everybody understands what it is. Believe me, have you seen the internet arguments over it? I mean, we've had internet arguments on our show like 2 or 3 times with people who've come in and we've talked about. It's like, I don't read it that way. I don't believe it's like, okay. Everybody runs it a little differently. Neutral good characters in this alignment have a healthy respect for both law and freedom, typically choosing a road betwixt. I love that word. Betwixt the two in order to achieve benefits and mercy for all. Betwixt is used all over the Hyperborea book, at least 2nd edition. I don't know, and I love it. He also says treble instead of triple.
Nice. So people of neutral good alignment, they will follow the law until it infringes on someone's freedom and or happiness, maybe, or prosperity, and then they'll say no.
Sometimes the law has to be broken. Yeah.
Because according to neutral good characters, the law should serve the people. If a law is not serving the people in a beneficial way, it's a bad law.
Right. It's kind of, I wouldn't say it's benevolent dictatorship. It isn't, because that would be lawful good. But sometimes you have to either break or ignore a law in order for the greater good to come out. I mean, it's pretty simple. Neutral. Characters of this broad alignment typically believe in a balance between law and chaos and between good and evil. Now, I'm not going to read more, but hold on. I know a lot of people who have heartburn with that first sentence. And I've seen a lot of people over exaggerate neutrality, like, well, you can't pick between steak and pork because that's a decision. It's like, oh my God, shut up. Yeah, that's people taking things to the nth degree. It just means that, all things in moderation. It means you can't have good without evil. If you're the heroic type, of course, if you're a civilian, if you're the type that's just trying to survive and eke out a living at home, of course you're going to want to be protected and you're going to see orcs as bad and so forth. But if you're looking at the world from above, you take that Buddhist stance of it, all of a sudden you start to realize, well, you have to have the orcs to test you, so to speak. You have to have the evil stuff in life so that you can rise above.
And a lot of people who have that argument of making a decision is impossible for a true neutral character. That is not true. Personal decisions don't matter. Decisions that affect only you are not,
or even your group,
impeded by your alignment. Like pork or steak, that's only going to affect you. All right. I mean, both these animals are already dead. Choosing one or the other is not going to save the life of the cow or the pig. They're both already dead. So eating one, it has no societal impact. All right.
Well, there's also that whole thing. Well, in the middle of the fight, I got to change sides because we started to win.
No. Again, that is more of a personal, and at that point, very personal and situational type thing where your true neutral alignment is not going to come into play.
But even still, somebody who recognizes true neutral understands the whole pendulum swing concept. Whether it's modern politics with the right left, whether it's like Dragonlance stuff where high evil at one point, high good at the other point, it can be just as bad. Wherever it happens to be, it could be sports. You're going to have great years and then you're going to have bad years. If you're from Minnesota, you have more of these. But whatever. Yeah. But the point is that pendulum swings, and you realize that. Yeah, wiping out the orcs, there's just going to be another evil that replaces it. And you understand that. So you wouldn't necessarily be like, oh, got to stop now. Got to stop. The war is over, even though they're still at the gates, but we cut their numbers in half. We got to let them go. It's like, no. You could still take them out because they're a danger to you and your society. You just understand that by doing so, something is going to fill the vacuum. Or you might not even understand it. You just, you live your life. You just move on to the next thing. That's the other thing, is you don't have to contemplate. People think that being neutral means you're contemplating everything all the time. Neutral is probably the least contemplative, unless you're specifically a druid.
The last sentence in true neutral is very telling. Go ahead and read.
Okay. Well, let's get there. Some seek to maintain existing social institutions while others simply wish to keep to themselves. I think that's important. Mm-hmm. Some neutral characters disdain the perceptions of other sentient beings, finding the truth that lies in nature and its animals. Okay, that's the grumpy druid.
Bullshit.
Yeah, that's the really grumpy one. All right, Others follow their own code, which changes with the situation, tending to favor those that benefit them the most.
There you go. Benefit them the most. That's a little weird. Reading the first part of this paragraph and then reading that last part of the sentence after that comma. Tending to favor those that benefit them the most. Those, of course, talking about others, follow their own code, which changes the situation. So is it talking about your code will change depending on?
I picture it as more of a survivalist mechanism.
There you go. That's exactly what I was thinking too. Like the whole, switching sides in a fight. This part negates that idea because that does not benefit you at all. You're losing friends. The people you switch sides to are never going to trust you because you're a traitor. That does not benefit you at all, even if you win the fight, because you're on the winning side now.
Well, usually when I see people do that, it's about numbers. Like, oh, we can only have equal fights, 7-7. Like, that's not how neutral works. That's weird.
Doesn't benefit you at all. You can always run away if you're on the side with the least amount of numbers, and then you still win because you didn't die.
Right. There's a couple of chats here. So yes, you're true neutral, Noro. You're true neutral. Thought even the world have nothing to measure good with. Yep. And I think most of the alignments understand. I think even evil outside crazy people, I think
And you muted yourself. Still can't hear you. Still can't hear you. All right. When I read that, that chat, it reminded me of Dragonlance. Whoa, damn, that got weird. That got weird real quick. All right, it reminded me of Dragonlance when the king priest of Ishtar started making all of these laws uh, outlawing evil. They would outlaw evil, and they would have clerics do detect alignment and detect lie spells, and it created all kinds of problems. All of the gods got together and smote the damn planet because they were breaking the balance of law and chaos, good and evil. There's supposed to be a balance for the world to progress in a healthy fashion. The king priest, all of his laws and all of his decrees were holding the pendulum on one side. And when finally he was made to let go by having a mountain dropped on him, it swung way the other way for 100 or 200 years before it started coming back. So there are repercussions to making your world more lawful, more chaotic, more good, more evil than having the balance of both. Oh, the whole Taoist thing is pretty good. I'm agreeing with a lot of this, especially number 3. Cheat when necessary. Because, in school, if you cheat, you're only hurting yourself. In real life, if you cheat, you're just winning. You're just winning. As long as you're not caught, you win. There's no stigma on success. Get over it. And I'm not going to go through all the tenets, violence. I'm not doing that. What curse did I put on Max's mic? Well, I switched my microphone curse over to him. That's what I did. And while he's gone, I might as well share. There, see? My castles and crusades. There it is. So we will move on to chaotic good. Characters of this alignment view the greatest good as being attainable through freedom and individual liberty. Thus, they place primary importance on individuality and liberty of action over that of any law or societal structure. So, unlike lawful good, where you believe that the greatest good can come from following the law and making sure that the law serves the people, chaotic good is very libertarian. The laws really don't matter. Only the safety and happiness of the populace actually matters. If the people are happy, everything's cool. If the people are not, come hell or high water, you're breaking laws to make sure that the people get happy. The people have freedom of choice. All of the people, get food on their table, and all the children have full bellies. That's the most important thing to a chaotic good character. Hawkman, I've been saying that since 1E, accompanied by Gary about on DF. Should have never had 9 descriptions. Yeah, fair enough. I believe it. Then we get to chaotic neutral, which is something that I would never allow a character to play because it's just nuts. Characters this alignment value individual freedom. They have no qualms in achieving it by whatever means necessary, good or otherwise. In all of the campaigns I run, I make it a point in the beginning to say, you are good people. You are heroes. Chaotic neutral character is not a hero. Can't be a hero. Not going to be a hero. Never going to be a hero. Because a chaotic neutral character only does basically what's best for them. They are for themselves, only themselves. They're for other people only to protect their ability to also be for themselves, about themselves. That's it. So this is a great NPC, horrible PC. Never happening. Okay, chaotic evil. Characters of this alignment tend not to value anything, disdaining others and often seeking to destroy for their own selfish reasons. They seek power and the ability to wield it as they see fit. All right. There is no law except for what I say. And what I say goes. You don't like it? You either fall under my boot heel or you fall off a cliff. Fall off a cliff. And that's it. That's chaotic evil. They have no respect for others. They have no respect for law. It says chaotic evil, but they don't have respect for the idea of chaos either. They only have the respect for the idea of them being in charge. It's very Dr. Horrible. If you've ever seen Dr. Horrible sing-along blog, it's pretty funny. You should watch it. But yeah, I mean, they are the end-all, be-all of what is correct in the universe. Going against them is completely alien in their brain. They can't fathom why anyone would disagree, except that they want to be either subjugated or killed, and that's it. Oh, Tim from Trollord Games. Just wanted to say thank you for covering and reviewing the Player's Handbook. Well, Tim, you are very welcome. So far, I've had a lot of good things. Tim, while you're here, I have only one complaint about this game, is that you're moving away from Assassin, which is my favorite class. It's my favorite class. It has the most customizability. It has the most depth and dimension of all the other classes. I understand a lot of people find it hard to run a game with an assassin being an assassin, but you can be an assassin class and spec yourself out as a spy. You can be an assassin class and spec yourself out as a as more of a thief spy, I guess. Or of course, you can also be a thief assassin or a spy assassin. That's completely fine. But I just love the assassin class. That's pretty much it. That's why.
Hey, I think you can hear me now.
Yes, I can.
I had to reboot twice. I don't know what the
Wow.
hell that was about. Yeah. And the second time, it looked like my motherboard was acting stupid. So this probably isn't a good sign.
Yeah, we had Tim from Trollord Games stop by and thank us for covering the Player's Handbook.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then I told him he was wrong about assassin class and it should be featured more and stop being pushed away.
Well,
and of course, Tim, there's a bus coming. Let's throw Steve under it. Which is exactly what happened. He's not a fan. We've had plenty of discussions about this. I know. Oh, look, you're green again. Yay. But but I went on a live stream and talked about the assassin class. I knew he didn't like it. And yeah, I knew that was a thing. I'm just sad that in the 9th printing, it'll probably be gone. Because now it's an optional class.
From what I heard, I heard that people really like it. Like it's got to be in the game. Yeah, he just put it on the bottom because he didn't want to be the first thing seen. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe change the class name to Murder Hobo, and then you can put it back in alphabetical order.
No. Spy, saboteur. You can do that. Spy. From assassin to spy. That's fine. Make it a spy. Number 1, it'll be close to the end in alphabetical order. And number 2, it won't be a class that people immediately think that I have to kill folk.
And I'm getting a big audio warning again. Are you kidding me? Go ahead.
I can hear you fine.
I know, but it means it's going to cut out. Go ahead. Continue to do the stream the way we normally do it. I will be back as soon as things are working. Hopefully that's the stream. Sorry.
That's okay. And Web Warrior says agent. It's a fantasy game, so I don't think the class title of agent is going to work thematically. But yeah, okay, I get it. Let's move on to choosing a deity. Now, again, like I said, in the beginning of this book, if you follow the instructions, I'm not being mean to you. If you follow the book's suggestions and you thought of how you want your character to act and what you want your character to do before you chose your race and class, then this is going to come pretty easily for you. It helps you to choose a deity or pantheon of deities whom the character calls upon. Again, if you know how you want your character to act, you will choose a pantheon accordingly. You will not choose a pantheon that restricts you in armor that you want to use, or in weapons that you want to use, or in actions that you want to do. You will choose one that complements the character you've already made, to make it so very easy not to piss off your god, because you do not want to piss off God. You do not need that hassle in your life, because Your life's going to be short. Start doing stuff like that. A deity adds a depth to the character that cannot be captured in any other way. That's true. When Quintus Marius Antonius draws his gladius to give combat, he calls to his ancestors to welcome him into the Elysian fields where he may live in happiness free of care forever. A shout like this from a player before combat begins is likely to change everyone at the table and capture both the spirit of the character and the game. That is a good hook for other players, an excellent hook. You give a rallying cry to your god for success or vengeance or whatever, and the other players at the table will have their characters act accordingly. And if you do a good one as a castle keeper, I will probably give a morale bonus to your party or anyone following you. Just because of not only good role playing, but because you had a good speech. And as we all know, who we saw Mel Gibson's William Wallace monologue, a good speech can win the day. Murder hobo. No, we don't want Assassin being a murder hobo. We don't need that. Shadzar says, gods serve the setting, not the rules, and should only loosely be in any rule set other than classes and alignment bits. Okay, well, we'll see how deep this goes. If this goes into a rabbit hole, then we might have some trouble. And Midnight Shadows with a Z says, hello from Europe. I'm sorry for those of you in Europe. You can enter the giveaway, but you won't be shipped any items. Sorry. It's this time's US only. But here's a good paragraph right here. It starts with an excellent sentence. Choice of deity is not required. Unless you're a cleric or you get powers from a god because of your class, you are not required to pray to any god. You are not required to be beholden to any deity whatsoever. You just don't have to. It's not required. Yet in a world of fantasy where deities are presumed to exist, it is often overlooked aspect of character creation. After all, what is a Norseman without Valhalla? Fine. Note that if you find yourself shouting for Valhalla or the Elysian Fields every morning before you plunge your spoon into your cereal, then, they're going to stop listening to you. Not only will the gods stop listening to you, but the players will stop wanting to hear about that crap too. You should consult with your castle keeper when choosing your deities, of course, because like I said, me as a castle keeper, I will make everyone be heroes. I'm not going to let you pray to a lich turned lesser god of raping. No, this is going on YouTube. Strike that. Didn't say that. Of eating small Colombian children, which I do not condone, by the way. I'm not going to allow you to pray to that god ever. Get a new god, please, or don't play, because that's just weird, man. Polytheistic societies tend to be open in their religious devotion. That's true. If there's many gods, there's many points of view. Clerics and druids draw their power from the deity, pantheon of deities, or whatever supernatural forces they have allegiance to. This is important. You can pledge your fealty to a pantheon, not a specific god, and still get spells. Now, you're probably going to have a favorite, and if there are deific restrictions on, say, armor, spell list, weapons, whatever, you're going to have to choose a main god, but you are a member of the pantheon. And so at any moment, you can call for a member of the pantheon for assistance. And if the castle keeper allows it, maybe he'll allow that god to step in on your behalf. If you're doing something that god wants done and your success helps the god's goals, I don't see why not. So if you pray to a pantheon, you still have the powers and restrictions of one of the gods, that pantheon, but you have a broader base of possibilities at that point, which I like how they put in there. That's really good. And of course, if you're a druid and you pray to nature can give you power as well. They're just throwing that in there just so you don't have to pray. Your castle keeper doesn't have to create a god of nature or anything dumb like that. So I like that too. That's really good. Okay, what do we got up here? The cleric and druid must hold true to the common belief system of their deity and or pantheon. They must be the same alignment as their deity and possess the same worldview or of their pantheon. A cleric who pays homage to a goddess of wisdom should not approach problem solving with unreasoned violence. This is fair. Now, like I said earlier, if you are praying to a pantheon, you still have to pick a god, a main god. And so this will come into play. If you choose as a main god of wisdom, well, then you're not going to murder hobo, as Tim said, or you're not going to answer all problems with a bash to the face, right? Might makes right is not your deal. Your main god or the god of your choice is a god of wisdom. You're going to try and emulate that to stay in the good graces of your god, or you're going to see your spells fall away like raindrops, hitting blades of grass. It's just going to fall away. By Crom, these flakes. Get soggy, exactly right. I have a problem with that line. What if a violent race is a cleric of wisdom? The best defense is a strong offense. That's the thing. A violent race, a race that is violent by nature is a monster race. There is no race that is violent by nature that is a playable race in this game. A half-orc has choices because of the half-human element in it. An orc is not a playable character race. They cannot pray to a god of wisdom or peace. They can't. They will never have their prayers answered, ever, because of their biological need for violence and domination and strength and right and might makes right type thing. Spells fall away like Max's mic. That's true. Disappear like tears in the rain. Oh, Matt.
Did I just flash again?
As
soon as I popped in here, it looked like I flashed.
As soon as you popped in, I just saw you pop in. I didn't see a flash, but I could have missed it because it happened right after, maybe. I don't know. All right. Clerics and druids require holy symbols or icons representing their deities or their supernatural powers. These symbols and icons serve as a conduit between the deity and the character. For clerics, they vary in size, shape, and form and can be worn as necklaces, pendants, bracelets, rings, blah, blah, blah. Rods, staffs, and wands, scepters, even weapons can serve as holy symbols. A cleric staff with their god's holy symbol on the top could be required. That could serve as their holy symbol. Same thing for a pendant or a ring, whatever. And for casting some spells, it says it requires holy symbol for a connection to your deity. That could be psychological. That could be physically required to channel the holy power through you. Doesn't matter.
What are you reading right now?
This right here.
No, but I mean, what section is this?
This is choosing a deity.
Okay, this is still completing a character. Okay.
Yeah, it's what? I didn't jump away. I was actually reading more than I normally would have until you got your stuff done up. So okay, okay. The shape. Oh, he's dead again. Okay. The shape and design of the symbol should be limited only by the type of deity, style of game, and the imagination of the player character. True. If you pray to a god of swords, guess what? Your holy item could be a sword, or it could be a pendant of a sword, or some other weapon of some other type. Same is true for a god of beggars. Your holy item is going to be a wooden bowl, normally holding gruel. All of that stuff. When you choose your god, you and your castle keeper will come up with the idea of what your specific holy item can be and what it will be. You will choose what it will be, but your castle keeper will give you options on what it can be. Or a wooden sword. Yeah, a beggar would have a wooden sword, Of course, I usually call that a stick, but okay. Okay, let's move on to names. Much like character's appearance, name should reflect the character is. Now, I'm not going to go through all this. They have a lot here, like 3 paragraphs on a name. I don't get it. I have one rule. The name should reflect the region you are born.
And I don't like pun names.
Well, okay. He doesn't like pun names. I don't really care as long as it's not like you're born in a setting that is based on Norwegian descent and gods and all stuff like that. Your name is not going to be some Latin derivative. All right, it's not going to be Laquisha or something like that, or Muhammad. It's not going to be that. It's going to be something Norwegian. Look, Google it.
And vice versa. If you're playing in a
If you're playing in an Al-Qadim type game, your character's name is not going to be Kevin or Hans or Jürgen, Fergen, Schurgen, Bergen by a vowel. No, it's not. So that's really all I have to say about that. And now we are at equipment. Perhaps one of the most enjoyable aspects of a character creation is purchasing equipment before beginning play. This step is often overlooked in terms of its ability to personalize the character. That is true. All the things you've gone up to this point is going to determine what items you're going to buy. All right. If your god only allows you certain weapons or certain armor, that's going to affect what you're going to buy during character creation. If your god only allows you to go into battle with a lance and full plate armor, well, you better save up, get some lance and full plate armor. You're not fighting. Or if your god only allows you to wear no armor, then guess what? You're not buying armor. You're spending your money elsewhere. Other consideration is the culture. Obviously, I talked about that same thing with name. All right, you as a let's say an East Asian campaign, you are not going to have full plate armor available to you. You are not going to have a halberd available to you. These are all European constructs. They are not going to be available for purchase, or even no one's even going to know what they are if you ask them in an Eastern Asian campaign. It's not going to happen. So that there are limitations. Pretty much all this thing is saying is there are limitations on culture and setting for what you can buy. And then you, as the player, have limited yourself even more with your character concept and your choice of deity. All of that is a funnel to what you can actually purchase and use. So all of that, through all of those lenses, is how you look at buying equipment for your character. And of course, you have starting gold. Fighters and rangers get this. Clerics and druids get that. Knights and paladins get the most, which I get because they usually have the greatest armor, have to buy a horse, all that stuff. That's fine. That is fine. Then we have all the different kinds of helmets, shields, armors, weapons, lots of different weapons here. I don't even know what a Bec de Corbin is.
Bec de Corbin? It's a polearm.
It's a polearm. Okay. Well, if your god only allows you to have shivs, then you don't get that. Sorry. Club, crowbill, dagger, heavy flail. It's very ugly. Spiked gauntlet. That's funny. A glaive, not the Krull glaive, an actual glaive. So don't be like, I can throw it. I'm like Xena, only cooler. Like, no, sorry. I'm Xena with spikes. No, you're not. Shut up. Hatchet, a Qatar. Nice. Man catcher. Again, that is an Asian thing. Both the East and West Asian, I believe. I've only seen it in East Asian culture, but I'm told that it also in Western Asian and a couple of European people called a man catcher. The man catcher is basically a pole arm with a half circle at the end and either a hook on either side or spikes along that center. So you go ahead and hook someone and catch them and just kind of so they can't attack you back, and you have them basically held. So if you don't want to kill someone, have that. Sap, we're not going to go through all this, but they have enough weapons here, which I really like. They have enough weapons to encompass many cultures, many settings, many backgrounds, and of course, many choices of deity, which you as a player would choose. So you are not going to be without weapon or armor. Transport, okay. Cart, I like carts, they're nice. And general equipment. General equipment, lamps, torches, rations, blankets, bottles, wineskins, potions. Great. Pot, that's important. A pot. Nope. If you think you may not have enough food to get to A to B, and it's like, oh, we'll just hunt. You better get a pot to make that deer stew or whatnot, or else you'll be eating charcoal grilled deer laid on the wood. I don't recommend that. Provisions and lodging, okay, clothing. Now, all of this has weight. We haven't gotten to encumbrance yet, but it's good to note all of this stuff has weight. Oh, look, it's like I'm a prophet. Encumbrance. All right, before we get to that, let's see what we got here for chat.
All right. I'm not
think you're better
fixing
now?
it. I'm not going to fix it anymore if it goes out
Okay.
again. It's ridiculous. It's causing more problems than anyway.
Knights use their sword to represent a cross. That can be true, especially for a paladin. If he wants to call upon the powers of God, he just turns his sword upside down, grabs the top of it with his gauntleted hand, and boom, it's a cross. That is entirely doable. The castle keeper would have to agree. That can serve as a holy symbol as well. But yes, I'd be fine with that. That'd be great.
I would say that the sword also has to have some sort of marking or be special to
Yeah.
you.
It has to be a special personal sword. Like given to you by the church, or you made it for that specific purpose, paid more money to have it fashioned.
Even if it just has a certain engraving in it, like, has a Bible verse or something that you like. Yeah.
Something. Yeah. That's fine.
Sorry, I missed the gentleman from Trollord Games. I actually wanted to ask if he was the one that commented and said he's going to make a reaction video to me. But so far,
the Romans used man catchers too. Thank you. Like I said, well,
it's an old. I mean, it's an old device, to be honest with you. They used it for slave catching back in long before even the Romans. So
yeah, they used it a lot. Let's see.
What I like about the man catcher, though, is it's non-lethal but very effective, and you don't see a lot of people using them.
That's true. But the thing is, when you catch someone in a man catcher, you are committed to catching that man.
Yeah.
If you
have
defend
to
yourself,
let them go.
yeah. If you defend yourself against another attacker, the first guy probably gets let go. So 1-on-1, you win. 2-on-1,
but the first guy isn't releasing himself from the man catcher in one action. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
But he's gonna be running around like a cat with a leash, trying to get away.
Yeah, it has limitations, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Holds up sword, power of Christ compels you. Hey, that's fine. Does it, heathen dog? Get it? Heathen dog. I don't have a god. So if I were to say the power of Christ compels you, it would never work. That was a good one. That was funny.
All you have to have is conviction and faith. Oh yeah, it won't work.
No, you don't. You need to choose a god. I've always wanted to play a character that carried a backpack twice his size full of crap, almost like the trash goblin from Labyrinth. I did have a character who carried stuff twice his size. I cast a permanent levitation spell on it. I was able to move it around.
You're still going to be encumbered, if not by the weight, just by the bulk. It's like when you lift something, it's like, it's not the weight that gets me, it's how bulky it is. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I'm watching my computer stats at the same time to see if there's anything weird going on.
All right, and we can move on to the encumbrance. Encumbrance is an indication of how much a character is carrying. The rules are used to help determine the amount of equipment, material, and treasure a character can reasonably carry without suffering movement, attribute check, or combat penalties. The following guidelines include several facets in determining how much a character can carry. So we go to the chart. Unburdened is up to 1 times ER.
Now, I remember we talked about this in 7th printing. I don't remember how the ER formula works out, though.
It's right here. The encumbrance rating is the total amount of encumbrance values the character can carry before being burdened, and it is determined by equal to their strength score. So your ER is your strength score. So if you have a strength of 10,
so I get the strength score of the entire party?
Unless if everyone's playing light
as a feather game.
If everyone's playing the light as a feather game, then yeah, sure. But so if you have a strength of 10, you can carry up to 10 pounds with being unencumbered. Seems weird to me. Let me read that again.
Well, no, it's not pounds, it's ER rating.
Yeah, hang on. Their strength score. This is that. Oh, then modified by the character's prime attributes. If the character has either the strength or con attribute as prime, they may add 3 to their strength score to determine their encumbrance rating. Okay. If the character has both of them as prime, they may add 6. Okay. So if you're a human, you have what? 3 primes and 1 from your class. So you could easily, even a strength of 10, have an ER of 16. If you can be burdened is 1.1. I'm going to say 1.1 because up to 1 includes 1. So you can't have 1 in the next thing. That's a mistake in this thing. Stop it. It should have a greater than 1 sign here. 2, 3 times your encumbrance rating is burdened. Overburden is more than 1 times is fine. 3 times.
I'm sorry. I stopped listening when I heard they in the singular. What's going on?
All right.
I literally tuned it out.
Unburdened says up to 1 times your encumbrance rating.
Uh-huh.
Burdened is 1 times your encumbrance rating to 3. That's incorrect.
No, it's not.
Because you have 1 in both categories.
No, unburdened would mean 0.0 or 0.9999 to the infinite.
That would be
up to 1. Right.
Includes 1.
No, it does not. It would say up to and including 1. But I will agree with you on the consistency side of it, where
it says more than 3 here, it should say more than 1 here.
But it's not more than 1. It starts at 1.
That is not how I read it.
Okay, that's what it means, though.
No, okay, that's not happening. All right.
Don't do any jet mechanics then, because when it says turn up to a quarter time and you turn it a full quarter and a half, like you're breaking stuff.
Quarter and a half is more than a quarter. All right. Example: the ancient and wizened priest of Thoth, Memnon, has a strength score of 7 and a con as one of his primes, so his ER is 10. Due to a strength score of 7, modify +3, blah, blah, blah. On a trip to an ancient burial ground to lay a soul properly to rest, Memnon expects trouble, so he's carrying a lot of material with him. His equipment's encumbrance value up to 17. Memnon's categories for encumbrance are unburdened 0 to 10. Uh-oh. That just made me correct.
What's that? So 1 is
his
included?
ER is 10. And his unburdened score is 0 to 10.
Oh, so it's up to and including.
Yes.
Then it shouldn't say up to at all.
It should. It really, this is wrong. This is wrong. This is
it should definitely say what
more than
not
1.
less. It should say 1 or less.
Yes. Yeah, there you go.
But I don't. So to me, that's too much finagling. Anyway, I do agree with the accuracy side of it, but as a game master, that's not going to bother me. That hang up isn't going to bother me, because I'll just say if it's less than 1, it's this. If it's 1, it's 1 to 3, it's that, and just move on. Or if somebody points this out here, but it says the example here, say fine, then it's 1 or less is that. If it's 1.001 up to 3, then fine.
It's that. That is fine. That is fine. But as a player, when I'm packing my bag to go on an adventure, this becomes important.
If that 1 ounce is what messes you up,
what separates burdened from unburdened, it's important in combat, as we will find out. Burdened 11 to 30 and overburdened 31 plus. With an EV total of 17, Memnon is lightly encumbered and suffers the penalties for that category. What are the penalties for being unburdened? Encumbrance category. Unburdened, no effect. Burdened, minus 10 foot to the character's move score. So you've gone from a normal human average of 30 to 20. And +2 to challenge level for all dexterity-based checks. That is no joke. That is no joke, especially the movement. If you want to run away, you're going to have a little trouble running away.
No,
Okay.
I'm not disagreeing. I actually think it should be written more. Should be written
more,
better.
More
I'm just
precisely.
saying.
Yes.
But I'm not hung up on that in terms of saying, oh my God, the book is horrible because of that. But I would say yes. If I were writing it, it would be written more concise.
It would be more. It would have more clarity.
Yeah. But that's my job, is to write technical manuals.
Yes, a tech manual for clarity, and that's what this is. But this itself, until you read the example, is unclear.
But I mean, we disagreed, and I was wrong. And I'll tell you that when we write stuff like that, scroll up just a touch. When we write stuff, if it looks like this, where it says unburdened, our rule would be then do not match 1. Go right under 1. If you touch 1, you're in danger zone. And then the next level being 1 to 3, whatever, and then more than 3. That's how we would read it.
Be up to less than 1.
Well, it'd be up to 1, or if 1 is okay, it'd be up to and including 1.
Yeah, but apparently in this one, 1 is okay.
Yeah, then in that case, it should say either up to and including 1, or it should say 1 or less, and then right here it should say more than 1 to 3. See, and that's to match. That's to match this third one, which also says more than 3.
All right, I read it differently. When I see up to 1, mm-hmm. in my mind it includes, because if you move the bar to 1, it's actually at 1.
Sure.
Up to 1 is including the digit 1. So that's how I read it, and that's great. But they shouldn't have another 1 here. It should be greater. Oops, shit. It should be greater than. But
it should match the third line.
Exactly. All right. Okay, weight modifier and weight note. Okay, we're gonna get to that. Ad hoc encumbrance. 80% of people will probably ignore. You're probably right. Yep. Encumbrance is a function of the size, weight, and bulk of an object. Max actually said earlier that part of encumbrance is the size, not just the weight. Mm-hmm. Something can be awkward to carry around, not because it's heavy, but because it's big.
Which I remember we talked about this in 7th printing, and I really like the encumbrance system conceptually. I can't remember what I thought in the end, but I know conceptually I like the encumbrance system of this game because it took that into account.
Yep. But it might come up during the game session that the castle keeper must quickly determine the EV of an object that isn't listed on the equipment list. To do so, a relatively quick system has been developed. Okay. Determine the EV, or the encumbrance value, for an item not on the equipment list. Get a general idea of the dimensions of the object in feet and use the largest of the dimensions as the base. For example, a statue is 5 foot by 1 foot by 2. It would have an encumbrance value of 5. After determining the base EV, add +2 modifier to that number for every dimension that is greater than 1. So a 5 to 1 would add a 2 for the 2, giving it a final base of EV of 7. This seems like a lot. I personally, it's nice that it's specific, but also personally, I would just go with the biggest dimension, just for simplicity of use.
Yeah, I mean, I could see. To me, I like the way this is done. I think to rule it for something quick in the game, I agree with you. I think I would do it the same way. Yeah. But when somebody's packing a wagon, or when somebody's getting really weird about, okay, I want to carry 2 statues and put them over there, and we got to do it within 10 seconds, then it's like, well, hold on here. How's that going to work for your encumbrance? Then I like being a little bit more specific. Otherwise, somebody be like, it's only 5 feet long. I don't care that it's 14 feet wide. I mean, I know you just say use the biggest number, but
14, yeah.
But I don't think it's hard. Let's put it this way. I don't think it's hard. I mean, the 7 was easy to come up with.
It's not hard, but it could have been easier. I think that the extra mechanic added to that is unnecessary.
It's easier than coin counting.
That's fair. I just think the extra mechanic's unnecessary. I don't disagree with it. I just think it's unnecessary. And then you have modifiers to your encumbrance value, depending on if it's very light, heavy, or very heavy. So if that 5 by 5 by 5 block of cardboard would be considered very light, it's no longer 5 encumbrance value, it's 3 encumbrance value. And that 3 encumbrance value is just saying that this thing is big and hard to maneuver.
Cumbersome, yep.
Yeah, it's just hard to maneuver around. Therefore, it creates some form of encumbrance not attached directly to its weight. I like that. And if the thing is balanced or not, like you're carrying that 5x14x1 thing, maybe it's not balanced very well, so it's heavier on one end than the other, and you're going to get, if it is balanced, you're getting the -1 to its EV. If it's unbalanced, you don't. If it's bulky, just big and stupid, you get ×2 to your EV. That's awesome. Narrow, 1/2 the EV. You're like, sure, a pole arm is very long. You're gonna have like carrying a lance, very long.
But it is made to be held for a long
But
time.
it is made to be held for a long time. It is balanced correctly, and it's narrow. So you get the balance -1 to the EV, and then half the EV on top of that. Now, for me, the multiplier comes after the plus and minus. So you would minus the EV first, and then apply a multiplier. That's math. Worn and
Isn't that backward math? I thought you multiply and divide or you added and subtracted.
Well, no, inside parentheticals do go first.
Right.
But I thought you added subtract before you multiply and divide.
I can barely see what's on the screen. I'm too scared to put anything else on my computer right
if
now.
I can make it a little bigger.
No, it's not you. I'm just being very cautious with my computer right now. So
that's too big. No, back it up. There we go. All right, that's as big as I can make it in Adobe. Okay, worn and capacity objects.
yes. No,
you know what? I don't care. I don't care. I'm 45 years old. I don't need to care about that. I will look it up again once it becomes prudent with my son when he gets into a grade where that matters, which will probably be next grade. So then I'll learn it again.
Then all of a sudden you're doing calculus.
Yeah, exactly. Then I'll learn it again. All right. Worn and capacity objects. Items that are designed to carry and redistribute the weight and bulk of other items are called capacity items. Capacity items can carry a number of items equal to their capacity. So what is this? Like a horse and cart, the cart part, or a wagon, or even a hiking backpack. It has pockets distributed correctly to distribute weight. Furthermore, a capacity item cannot carry any item whose EV is equal to or greater than its capacity rating. Of course, it won't fit. It won't fit. If you have a cart that's 5x5x5 and you want to put in something that's 5x2x25, it's going to fall out. It's going to fall out. It's not going to fit. Sorry, dude.
Well, you can rest it on top and hope. Tie it down.
Yeah, you can hope and pray, but sorry, dude. The first bump you hit, you lost it. So a backpack with a capacity of 8 can carry up to 8 items whose EVs are 8 or 7 or less. See, can carry up to 8 items with a capacity of 8. You don't have the capacity of 8. It's actually.
It's just the way they write it. I'm saying I wouldn't.
Again, I just wish there was more clarity in this. Items that are carried in a capacity item do not have their EV included in the character's encumbrance total. Instead, the character only notes the EV of the capacity item. So the character wearing an EV2 backpack has a bedroll EV3, hammer EV2, 50 nails EV1, and 1 torch EV1, has 5 items in the backpack, and thus has space for 3 more items. The character's encumbrance rating is only increased by 2 when they carry the backpack, ignoring the EVs of the items inside. The reason being is because the backpack with the straps and the way it's set up distributes the weight across your body, so it lessens your encumbrance. You can still move better, you can jump better, you can swing better.
And in case for whatever reason you don't think that makes sense because you only have your mind locked on weight, I want you to put everything that you can put in a backpack on the floor. Well, first of all, put it in the backpack, pack your backpack, walk around the house with it, then take everything out. Don't use the backpack and try to walk around the house with that stuff. You'll see that this makes sense.
Yes. And just actually, it's even easier. Fill your backpack with crap and carry it with your hands around the house and then put it on your back and walk around the house. See how much easier it is then. Now, I like this as a defining mechanic because it makes sense and it's real world stuff and I like it. But again, I don't like the fact that it's adding extra complication. I don't think encumbrance requires this much extra complication.
What would you prefer?
That's just my opinion, though. I
you
am
prefer
not saying
just
it's
weight?
wrong because it's definitely not wrong. I'm just saying
here's
I
the
think
here,
it has.
I like it, but I think I generally agree with you. But I've been playing too many rules light games recently, or reading them. I don't like a just strict weight system though. That's one of the things I'm looking at going through the Palladium stuff and actually referring back to some of the old D&D stuff. A strict weight system, then people don't care. I mean, yes, the game master can make rulings. I get all that, but people just start worrying about how many coins something will cost or exactly what the weight is. Like, oh, it says I can lift 500 pounds, then I should easily be able to lift up this full metal garbage can. It's like, no, that's not how that works. You can bench press a bar with some weights on it, 500 pounds, or you can deadlift it, whatever the game happens to be. But no, you're not going outside and you're not just randomly grabbing everything that weighs 500 pounds because, a piece of sheet metal that's 500 pounds, how are you going to get your arm under it? It's too wide. And, so something like this does make sense. Ultimately, though, it's a game.
Yeah, exactly. You can have it as a castle keeper. If you don't want to use the backpack mechanic that this gives, then make sure you say so at the beginning of the campaign. That's all you got to do. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Backpacks, especially ones with the straps for the waist as well, really do distribute the weight properly and help you carry or heavier things with less encumbrance. I agree. I just think it's too much for a game. You don't need it. It's unnecessary. But I understand why it's there. That's fine. Max, can you go ahead and share your screen? This is PDF page.
I don't have it up, but I will try.
Yeah, go ahead and bring it up because I just heard my son calling me.
Okay.
So
go ahead and stop sharing, and I will get it on.
All right.
Oop,
I will be back in just a second.
Watch everything go crazy again. Oh, let me get the link. I have to do this 2 different ways because I don't know if the issue is with my browser or if it was with something else. Actually, screw it. No, I'm not. I'm just going to do this. Segment links, Castles and Crusades. I'm sure he told me what page he was on. I didn't listen. Let's see. That's nope, it's definitely not that part. Oh, where were we? I know we were talking about it. Had to be somewhere after. Oh, did you say 98? No, that can't be right. Waiting for my computer to catch up here. Okay, he talked about that. He talked about. Oh. Nope, talk about that. Oh, we're right at the end. Oh, okay. This is the last page. What the? God. Bear with me. Everything's going wrong today. I love these days. How will you work? Work for me. Work. Oh, now you'll work. Thank you. All right. I already forgot what page that was. Something like that. Scroll. There you go. All right. And I shall zoom in. Boom. Okay, so he was talking about the EVs. He was giving the example. Expert, let's go move on over. Oh, you know what? I can do it. This over here. Put that right there. This is what happens when you have computer problems. Everything gets disjointed. Sorry. All right, expert weapons and armor. Skilled blacksmiths are able to create exceptional weapons and armor. These items are rare and expensive. Crafting them is time-consuming, requiring a master blacksmith who usually must employ a number of journeyman smiths. See, now that's good. That's good. I like that. And use finely tempered metals. A lot of people think that blacksmithing, because they watch Forged in Fire and they think blacksmithing is done in a vacuum by one person. It can be, but usually no. Not as a business.
All right, I'm back.
So, weapons. Expert weapons include a variety of well-crafted, etc. Okay, these items gain +1 to hit or a +1 to damage bonus. Or right there. Or
they're not magical. No. They're just well made.
Yes.
That's an important distinction. And they cost 10 times more than a regular weapon. Yeah, another important distinction.
In some rare instances, they are so well crafted, and they cost 25 times more.
Yeah. So
These
if
are
you want
called,
that, you're going to pay for it.
and they're called greater expert weapons. So you can buy these things. So, and you can do the math for money there.
Oh wait, Castle Keeper's note. You can limit their ability to get expert weapons and greater expert weapons by the size of the town that they're in. If they're in a village, no expert weapons there. Sorry, buddy. If you're in a town, you're going to get an expert weapon. If you're in a major city, you could probably buy a greater expert weapon.
Or you could maybe get a greater expert weapon, but you're waiting for it. I mean, the blacksmith there may be good enough, but you're going to be behind all the horseshoes and plows and everything else that he needs to make, so they can survive.
Well, no, you're paying 25 times the price. I think you jump the queue.
Not over survival. Not at all.
Well, no, if you're in a major city.
No. I'm talking to you could get it done in a small town or something. But
in a small town, if you want an expert weapon, you may have to wait. But if you're in a major city and you go to a master craftsman and you pay 25 times, you're jumping the queue, or else I'm taking my business elsewhere.
And he'll be like, "That's great. I got to feed my family." And,
you could feed your family with 1,000 gold pieces I'm giving you. Ass.
If I move right here, we're actually
and you know what? That's a business decision, NPC. You don't want my money? I'll get to someone else, bitch. That's it.
If only people work like that in the Middle Ages. Anyway, got armor also, which is a +1 bonus to the AC and costs 10 times the normal amount just for 1 point of armor.
Yes.
You might just want to get just upgrade from brigandine to chainmail at that point. No,
but the next one is important. In some instances, armor is so well crafted, it can absorb 1 point of damage from a single blow. These are the greater expert armors, and they're 25 times just like the greater expert weapons. And that one to me is valuable. Yes. Every blow -1 damage. I like it.
Is it a minimum of 1 though? That would be the next question to ask.
It says in some instances, armor it can absorb 1 point of damage from a single blow. To me, that reads 1 point of damage from each individual source.
No, I get that, but I mean, could it be that the game still says with a minimum of 1 point of damage? Because a lot of games do that.
It doesn't say that here.
It doesn't say it there. But now we have a combat section go through. What the hell? Did I write down the wrong page number? Okay, well, Castle Keeper in the game. I think that's challenge page. I think I wrote down the wrong page number. Oh, hot damn. Oh, no, I didn't. I just read the wrong page number. Gotta love that. Okay, 199. Right after the Magic
Wizard.
Oh, 201 for the PDF, 199 for the book.
All right.
Okay, Castle Keeper in the game. Now, this section is pretty short. It is only, according to this, like 100 and some pages. No, it's I keep looking at the wrong thing. It's like 14 pages. We don't have to read the whole thing. But I want to show this off here because we're not going to go through the Castle Keeper guide. So we'll just talk real quickly here about some things that it mentions here in the player's handbook. So you know that while this is Castle Keeper information,
this is Castle Keeper information that the Castle Keeper should give to the player.
Yeah, and that the game wants the players to have.
Right.
So style and mood of play. There are many styles. So this is kind of a session 0 thing. You could play a more tactical game. You may have a more role-playing game. You may have a more puzzle game. You may combine all of the above. But
first day of gaming, as a Castle Keeper, you communicate this to the players.
Right. And it kind of goes through that with theatrical games, often require you to make a host of simple decisions. And then over here, tactical games, unlike theatrical games, turn away from extensive role-playing and orient themselves on action. Now, you can combine the two, of course, but it goes in real quickly here. I like, actually, that this is in this section. I don't know if that's necessarily a Castle Keeper information, which is maybe why it's here. I think that players need to understand this as well, that, it might not be to your liking at the table. If you're used to playing Pathfinder all the time and somebody says it's going to be theatrical, might not be okay with that. On the flip side, if you've been playing Vampire for 15 years and now all of a sudden you're jumping into this game, you might not want the tactical game. You might want the theatrical game. So Maintaining pace. Pace follows mood in importance.
Yes.
To keep players enthralled with the game, it is necessary to maintain a steady overall pace. A healthy mixture of role-playing, problem-solving, and combat is a tried and true method. I agree with that 100%.
Yep, I'm all about that.
Yeah. Mixing these in just the right manner, which you never get perfect, but you can hit the 80% solution,
Sure.
can be difficult, but once you have perfected, there's no such thing. There's no such thing as perfecting it, but I get what he's saying here. But once you've perfected the method for you and your players, the game becomes dramatically better. Absolutely agree. Because it doesn't get stale.
Yep.
It's like, oh, look, we're going to have our typical, we show up at the table, we bullshit about the real world for a little bit, and then we buy some stuff in town, and then we go chop some stuff up again. Yay.
Right.
You know,
basically what this thing is saying is if you get this mixture right, this mixture of problem solving, combat, role playing, if you get it right, what you will see at your table is that when it's time to go, everyone will go, crap, it's that time already?
Right.
And then you know you're a winner.
I was like, can we just play a little longer? I have to work in the morning. Events that do not include the whole party can be particularly difficult to manage.
No riggers, no deckers.
No riggers, no deckers. Well, the rigger doesn't have to be away because the rigger follows you with the drone.
First edition, no drones.
An encounter between a paladin and a secular lord may be interesting for the player of the paladin and the castle keeper, but if it goes on for several hours, the remaining players will no doubt retire to the nearest TV. Yes. So these are just good suggestions, but I'm glad they're in the player's book and not hidden in the castle keeper guide. Not like players wouldn't buy it anyway, so that you as a player can start to recognize some of this as well.
Right, and I like that example. It didn't say like the Lord calling the paladin for an audience is bad, where only the Lord is talking to the paladin, but having it go on for several hours is bad.
Right.
Yes.
Sometimes it can
short, sweet, to the point, and then usually at the end of it, the Lord has given the paladin a mission or the knight a mission, and then that involves the entire party. Just get to it, and you're good. You linger, it turns into a snooze fest for everyone else.
I mean, I've been part of some where I was the center of attention and where it was not the center of attention, where actually it was really interesting to see what was going on because I knew it affected the characters, but I could understand why some of the other players at the table were like, I'd like to play sometime today too. It just really depends on your play style. I definitely would not do that every session.
No.
And after, a lengthy time frame of not playing, you better give me mine. Don't allow characters a long time to decide what they're going to do. Give them 5 to 6 seconds to decide. I don't time it necessarily like that.
But I'd probably go a little longer. But actually, no. I'm a lot like you in this instance. If they were paying attention and they're having problem deciding what to do, I'll give them more time. If they were dumbasses on their phone or a tablet and not paying attention, no, I'm not giving you more time. You skipped.
If the player is confused about the situation, I didn't describe it well enough, or the player isn't taking some initiative to just go along with what's there,
then
I'll give a little bit more time. Yes, but if you're like, I could use this ability, I could use that ability, then I just call it combat paralysis and say you're doing nothing this round, because part of the player's responsibility is to keep the game going as well. And for the love of God, don't sit there and go like, hold on, I need to look this up and see what it does. No. You should have done that before you came to the table. It is your responsibility to know your character. And anybody out there, I've actually watched some videos where it's like, no, the game master is supposed to know everything and help the players along. No, player has now a brand new player gets a bit of hand-holding by the other players at the table. But you are responsible once you've played a couple of sessions, once you kind of understand what you're doing with the game, you are responsible for your character. And the flip side of that is also don't bullshit me.
Right. And that is another reason for slow leveling. Slow leveling allows the player to fully grasp and understand the character's new abilities that they just got. If you fast level, they may not have enough time to fully understand all of the applications of their character's new abilities before they get more. So if you fast level and this happens, half of it's on the game master, or in this case, the castle keeper. Half that problem is yours. Half that problem is the other guy's.
So this is actually this is the second part of something, but I actually just like it on its standalone. The Steiner Scout Lance. But this is what he was actually saying too.
If you haven't figured out how to drive you know what? There was one movie where a rigger would have been awesome, and that's Aliens. Because they actually drove their truck into the structure to get people out and drive it back. If Ripley was a rigger, they wouldn't have screwed up the axle and they wouldn't have broken their ride. Then yes, a rigger in that instance would be awesome. But in 99% of the time, you are not going to be able to take your personal conveyance inside the dungeon.
All right. Killing a character is no easy task. Oh, you want to bet? Just roll really well. No, it should not be done lightly and should never be done as an act of vengeance. No, I do agree with that. And that's one of the things why I think I shy away from certain dungeon masters, is because if I see certain tones, and some people think I have this tone, but again, if you play with me, you find out it's not true, is I come to find out they're actually adversarial to the players. Like, oh, I got to kick their ass this time. No, you got to challenge them. So yeah, you don't kill a character out of vengeance. Now, if the player is just being a complete, asshat at the table, like somebody you don't want in the game anyway, you should probably just usher the player out. But sometimes it's fun to lightning bolt the dude in the butthole before you do it.
Yeah, but if you're going to ask him out anyway, just kill him and then ask him to leave. Like, but you killed my character, so you asked me to leave. No, I'm asking you to leave, so I killed your character. It's the other way around, buddy. And
a great line here, just to sum it up: a foolish character is a dead character, but an angry castle keeper is soon playing by himself. Yes, it's funny again that you put himself here, but you put they throughout the other book. Again, your editors. How many writers do you have? How many editors do you have for this book? Pick one. And they is not the right answer. The castle keeper must be impartial. So what I say here is, I actually throughout the games that I'm writing, I put a reasonable and fair game master. Like for a lot of different things. And I probably oversay it, but I do that intentionally just to remind, when you're coming up with that decision, or it's a hot button topic, where if I put that in there and the players and the game master are looking at it, they'll both see a fair and reasonable game master can decide blah, blah, blah. And so I like it. Yeah. An impartial, the keeper must be impartial and adjudicate fairly. Fairly means, okay, players, I'm giving you this, but know that my NPCs now get that as well.
Yeah. Especially, we'll go back to the whole picking a fight with the bartender thing. All right. If in your description of the bartender, you say, yeah, he's got a little bit of a gut, but you can see from his arms, which are like tree trunks, that he has worked out quite a bit. He's got scars all over his body that are obviously from battle. And yet you still picked a fight with this guy. I take no responsibility for you getting killed at that point.
More Duts. That is one of the best videos. More Duts. And as somebody, and I'm not a fan of World of Warcraft, but I played a Necromancer in EverQuest. So the whole more dots thing, yeah, absolutely. Always more dots, more dots, more dots. I might die, but I guarantee you, so are you. Anyway, scale of the game, knowing the style of game. Wow, I cannot read. Knowing the style of game. Oh, knowing the style of game your group decided. Oh, I get it. Okay, I was reading that wrong. Makes it easier for the castle keeper to decide on what type of game to run. Generally, games are centered around a single adventure or module, but ambitious castle keepers set themselves the task of creating a campaign. Who was I listening to talking recently about just running one shots? Like, I don't like one shot unless I'm playtesting a game. I do not want to play a one shot. If somebody comes to me, I'll do it for, say, somebody like Heathen Dog, like, hey, I'm running one shot of something, want to jump in? Sure, why not? But ultimately, if I'm playing for fun, I want that campaign. I want to start that character at nobody and try to grow it into somebody. Like
no, you can have your character and grow during time and still have Monster of the Week type.
No. I get that. No, I absolutely get that. And maybe it was hinting more of Monster Week here, but I was relating it. Somebody was saying that I only run one shots now. I'm like, oh no, it's Venger. Venger was saying that he only runs one shots. I'm like, man, like that's got to be boring. Like, I don't know. Sure he's getting it because he's writing his own games. He gets his own game out there. Friday Night Chill talked about one shots at one point. But if I'm going into it and I'm going to be excited about the game, let's put it this way. If Heathen Dog were to say, I'm running a one shot, I'd be like, all right, give me a character. I'll look it over. But if I'm making the character, I want to spend the time to play that character.
No, I get that.
Now, Enterprise and Castle Keepers can combine the two. Yeah, just keep your campaign going with one shots. I mean, you can do mods, as Heathendog was saying, you can
Monster of the
do
week type thing. Yeah, it's easy for some games, harder for others. It's easy for games like Paranoia and Call of Cthulhu to have, you know, the beginning, middle, and end be 4 to 6 hours of a certain adventure, and then you continue on with a completely different adventure the next week, but using the same characters. Easy to do in some games. In other games, not so much. Other games require either linked modules to create an arc, or you have to create an arc for the game yourself.
Now, somebody recently just told me that I actually run more Monster of the Week and one-shots, not one-shot so much, but Monster of the Week than I thought. And I was like, that's not true. I always have something going on. But he was very right when he said that, because at low levels, I do run a lot of one-shots, or what look like one-shots or Monster of the Weeks, because I'm setting up certain things that hopefully will come back later. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. All depends what's going on.
Oh, but I get it. Well, so what you're doing is creating a whole bunch of 4 to 8 hour module type adventures, but in doing so, you're creating lore that will be used later.
Well, maybe used later.
Maybe used later. It depends on the player's choices, what they do. But if levels 1 through 4, you have Monster of the Week happens to be an orc or kobolds, and then starting at level 5, you're higher level now. You hear more things like, oh no, the kobolds have been not only doing this here, but they've been doing it over there in that land as well, and they're actually swelling in number. And now you're on a campaign to control the orc and or kobold invasion, whatever. So creating lore for the future by having self-contained adventures.
It also feels up the players a little bit as well, just to see what they're into with their characters. Because even with you guys, with the different games that we played, you know, we bounced around from Dungeons and Dragons to Earth Dawn to Palladium to different Palladium to Rifts to, you know, Champions and so forth. Each one of those groups, even though the players are pretty much the same, the characters are different enough to create different types of adventures. Or different types of themes, I should say. While developing and planning a game of Castles and Crusades is primarily the responsibility of the Castle Keeper. Wow. I read that in like such non-English. Basically, it's a Castle Keeper's job to get the game ready. It's important to note that the game should not take shape in a vacuum. Though a ready-made audience may exist, the Castle Keeper should keep in mind that the audience, the players, are an interactive part of the game. Before the adventure begins, the players should create their characters, and the Castle Keeper should have an idea of the classes and races the characters intend to play. You create your characters in front of me.
Yeah.
I don't trust anybody. I just don't. It's just you know, part of the landscape of what I grew up with. You will make your character in front of me, and if you're like, well, I don't play that way, well, then you're not playing my game. I don't care. I've actually had people say, no, I want to think it through and figure it out and come back to you. Like, no, you're going to make the character at the same time as everybody else in front of me. I'm just a jerk like that. Players just returned from screening a good Viking movie, wants to play a Viking, go for it. I don't care. A life of adventure, whether played for a single night or as an episode, an ongoing epic campaign. The adventure is the centerpiece of Castles and Crusades. There are 4 basic settings. All right. So what are those 4 settings? Do I actually have to read? Darkened corridor, compromise, underground labyrinths, natural man-made. Yep. Those are dungeons, right? Twisting narrow streets. Okay. That would be your more urban environment. Mm-hmm. Long treks. So this would deserts and marshlands. This would be your exploration, your hex crawl, and there are places, domains where powers. Oh, so these would be like your demi-planes, or your just areas of your ley lines, your just areas temples, of power. Yeah,
like old temples that have a lich in there somewhere.
Yeah, well, and the outer planes.
Right.
So obvious places of power. Yep. All things are, because anything is possible on the plains, except for a fight in Sigil. I mean, wrong game. The castle and its keep. Designing a game session or series of sessions interlocked by a plot. Oh, look at that. Interlocked by a plot or theme. Yeah. Wow, written in the book. I like that.
That's weird.
I know. This game gets a thumbs up just for that. but a very fulfilling one as well. To do so requires a plot or environment in which the players find great interest. And that is one of the things that you do need to kind of feel out with the players at lower level. I mean, if you know your group, and one of the things that I've been, with certain videos and certain personalities out there that we've been kind of dealing with recently, that I've been trying to tackle in terms of why are they saying the things that they're saying. So many times, that person has his own group, his own dedicated group. Like that's why you can get by with doing some of these things. I remember doing that when I had my own dedicated groups. Unfortunately, nowadays with online, or if you're like me and you travel all over the world, you have to cater to the players that are already established there to some degree, or play by yourself, whatever. Balance takes time.
Myself.
I'm Ronry. I like this. Just why is everybody so fucking stupid?
Hey.
Oh yeah, segment 1.
Language.
Anyway, types of adventures. You have planned adventures. You have random encounters. You can have random adventures. I mean, we've talked about it enough times that I'm not going to bring it up again on our streams. But where the random adventures just took completely over a session, an 8-hour-long session. Elements of adventure. You can have some combat, some single combat, traps and riddles. I don't like traps and riddles. We talked about that on Friday. Yep. But there is a way to do them. There is a way to do them. At the end of the stream on Friday, I think we talked about that. Non-player characters, you know what it's missing here? Exploration. Maybe it'll come up a little bit. What are the 3 pillars? Communication, exploration, or social exploration and combat? Mm-hmm. You want all of those. And I would say that Free League has told me that there's actually a fourth thing out of character. When you consider how you build your stronghold. So when you play like Forbidden Lands or Mutant Year Zero, whatever, you have that fourth category where you're doing something, you're making all those decisions out of character, in order to build your stronghold or to fight with the resistance or repair the underground dome, whatever. That's all out of character stuff. So it gives a little something for everybody. What if somebody's not a strong role player but really loves that aspect? With an iron thumb. That doesn't make sense. I think that's the point. Whatever your style, theme, setting, or plot of game, the Castle Keeper should be willing to adjust the game's mechanics when necessary. Remember this phrase, rulings, not rules. Right. That's for all you weirdo Pathfinder players.
I would adjust this sentence to say, whatever the style, theme, setting, or plot of the game, the Castle Keeper should be willing to adjust the game's mechanics when he finds it necessary. Not when the players find it necessary, when the Castle Keeper finds it necessary. That's important. Players do not get to cherry pick rules.
Oh, and most games with no other players present. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. I think I've been playing like the Free League stuff really sits with me. So, and I like it. I want the players around the table. I remember from the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff where you're building your team concept because you'd get those bonuses. I like it for the Free League games now. I don't know. I like players around. I used to allow players to have like weird secrets and so forth. Like, can I actually play an evil character that's not actually, I won't express, whatever. I used to love that. Nowadays, I'm just like,
all right. Like, let's look at this paragraph right here because I think this is important.
Which one?
Right there. The Castle Keeper starts with, there it is. The Castle Keeper must learn to adjudicate the game and to decide quickly what the ramifications of certain actions may be. Now, this only comes with experience.
And you will be wrong sometimes.
Yes, especially in the beginning. You will be wrong.
It's okay to be wrong as long as you learn from it.
That's fine. If players are super pissed that they died because you got a rule wrong, well, they died, man. You got a rule wrong, and it really affected their gameplay. That's on you.
Don't resurrect. Right? I wouldn't say kill characters because you got a rule wrong, but I think that might be a bit extreme.
Example. Yeah, I gave an extreme example. I would walk that one back. But if it's a minor thing, like you made a rules mistake and someone lost their sword, I would write into later on in the day or the next day, they come across an equivalent replacement. That's fine. And you've learned for later. Again, this comes with practice as a game master. And after you've practiced this, you will be able to rule in a way that is both fair and keeps the game moving.
Don't waffle though.
No, you have to stick to it. If someone comes at you later and says, dude, you got this wrong, and shows you got it wrong, well, that's fine. That's fine. Try and walk it back or compensate the player in some way because you did get it wrong. But keep the game moving.
Yep.
All right. Fix it later. Keep the game moving. Tell them, hey, I know, I hear you. I understand you are right. We have to keep the game moving, but don't worry. We will talk about it after the game, and remunerations may be possible. Then move on. Everyone's learned something.
This was supposed to be a short episode today, segment. But we keep reading things, and I also had computer problems. That didn't help. No, all told, I like what that said so far. Do you wanna read the rest of it, or did you make the point that you
just keep going. All this is minutia, and even the rules are your servant, not your master. We talked about that already. Attributes in the game. Throughout the game, Castle Keeper player must resolve whether or not specific actions succeed or fail. I don't see why we have to talk about that. Yes.
Well, again, even though these are this is information more for the Castle Keeper. I really like the fact that the players are exposed to it right here, because the players understand what's going on in the sausage making. Not like they wouldn't anyway, but they see it in the words. And you know how people are nowadays with it isn't in the rules. Well, actually, it is written in the rules.
Yeah, it's here.
I want you to understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, the whole attributes in the game thing is if there is no skill in the game to cover this, or there is a skill but it doesn't cover the situation, you may have to roll an attribute check. Boom, there it is. That's basically what it's saying. So we'll move on.
All right, so let's figure out how to determine if you're going to attack something, or how to attack something, how to roll. So only activities which have a significant chance of failure. Probably one of the best sentences in this book, and it's one of my favorite things when people put in role-playing games now, because even if you look at books from the 80s and 90s, it never says that. Even these Palladium books I'm going through, they don't say that. But how many times have you run into a game master, and if you haven't, thank you, but I have a lot, where it's like, okay, I want to tie my shoe. All right, we'll go roll your skill check. Dude, there's nothing going on. I'm going to get it right. Like, what's going on? We got to roll. It's a skill. Yeah. They're overusing skills. Or you might have the computer skill. Look, all you're trying to do is surf porn in the morning before your friends come over. Look, that's easy. You're going to get it done. You do it every day. So you don't have to make a skill check.
There is a difference between going to your local gym and climbing a climbing wall with a harness that you've climbed several times and actually climbing a mountain. There's a difference. The first one, you're not going to need a check on.
Right.
There is no effective failure. You have a harness on, no one's going to get hurt. Nobody freaking cares. You're not going to waste time rolling that. But later on, when you're climbing a real mountain with no harness on, failure is a significant downside. You will roll it. Yeah, and there's a great chance of failure because nature hates you and wants to kill you.
The rule of thumb is this. If you're not under duress and ultimately you're going to succeed, it's just going to get done. Yep. Like if there's no time crunch and there's no combat crunch and there's nothing in your way, it happens. Let it go on. Stop rolling skills. So determine the needed attribute. Once decided the attribute check is needed, the Castle Keeper must identify the attribute to be checked against. In most cases, the answer is obvious. All right. Yeah. So challenge class. Once the associated attribute is chosen, the Castle Keeper must calculate the character's chance of success. The chance of success is determined by a number called the challenge class, CC. The challenge class mirrors armor class in that. Okay, so that I like that. You keep your terms similar. Hey, there's a first. To determine the challenge class, 2 simple steps are required. Must determine the challenge base and the challenge level. The level of difficulty of the challenge involved. Challenge base. That's a 12 or 18. We already know that. Is a primary attribute or is a secondary attribute?
Right. If
it's a primary attribute, it's 18. It's a secondary attribute, it's 12. There you go. Now you got your base roll.
Well, now reversed.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it reversed?
Yeah. If it's attributes prime, it's 12. If it's secondary, it's 18. You have to roll equal or over, not equal or under.
Okay. Yeah, for some reason I was thinking plus modifiers. All right. The second step. Oh yeah. Okay, you're right. Yep. The second step in calculating challenge class is determining the conflict's challenge level. The castle keeper has vast discretion in determining challenge level. Isn't there a chart in here though? Oh, maybe not. Thought there was.
It gives examples.
It
says the simplest way to determine challenge level is by referencing the level or hit dice of the non-player character or monster to which the character is making the check against or reacting to. In such cases, challenge level is equal to the level of hit dice of the non-player character or monster involved. Monster CL is equal to its hit dice. The challenge level of a non-player character equal to their level. For instance,
didn't seventh printing have a chart? Though? I thought we read through a chart.
I thought it did have a chart too, but I don't remember exactly. For instance, if an 8 hit dice creature uses paralyzing gaze on a character, the challenge level would be 8. If a 6th level wizard casts a spell on a character, the challenge level would be 6. If a rogue attempts to deactivate a trap set by a 4th level rogue, the challenge level would be 4. So this would add to your base, and that would be the challenge class. So disarming a trap would be a dex check. And if your dex is primary, it starts at 12. If a 4th level rogue rigged it, it's now a 16.
Where
if
are
you have skill in disarming traps of some kind, that would make it go down again.
Okay.
Or some other modifier. You have a skeleton key or you have magic lockpicks or whatever. That would affect it down.
Actually, this is what I remember from 7th printing. Challenge level 1 to 5 is adequate for easy tasks. For difficult tasks, 6 to 10. I thought it was in a chart format. I could be wrong, but this looks more familiar to me. Heroic actions require a challenge level of 15 to 20. Wow.
Yeah.
Good luck making those rolls.
Of course, it says you add them together. You add your base, which is either 12 or 18, to the challenge level, and you get your challenge class.
No, I typically don't like abstracty art, but this picture isn't bad. It's got nice contrasty colors. Maybe I just like the fireball.
No, the fireball is the least cool thing in that picture.
All right. Challenge level less than 0. So what happens if it's less than 0? Informing the player receive an extra bonus. What's that?
Doesn't require a check.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Well, okay, as previously noted, every activity does not require an attribute check. However, circumstances do arise where the castle keeper may want the character to make an attribute check, but have a greater chance to succeed. In other words, may want a CL of 0 or less. Oh, so you're still rolling versus that 12 or 18.
Yeah, but you can get automatic bonuses. So if it's a CL of -2 and it's your primary attribute, you're rolling a 10. You're rolling 4 a 10.
And remember, you get your level added into there as well.
Added to it, right?
Okay.
So if you're level 10 and you're going against a challenge code of 10, you win. I didn't see one was an automatic miss anywhere.
Ruling's not rules, man. I'm moving on.
All right.
Strength, obviously, you do things when you're to lift stuff and to be strong. Dexterity, hey, that's when you're trying to do tightrope walking. Intelligence, when you try to smartify people. Wisdom, when you're trying to not use words like smartify in a conversation.
Anyway, you don't have to do that. We can just skip this whole thing. This is just a guide to tell you examples of what attribute you're looking for to make them roll for a check in specific situations. This will give you enough examples so you can extrapolate from there. That's basically what this is. Also,
adding character. Well, we already talked about that, adding character, but we talked about that in the first episode.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And types of saving throws. Here we go. Let's look at saving throws for a moment, because I think this is the last thing to talk about yet. So saving throws. Use your strength to resist paralysis and constriction. By the way, this is one of those things I really like. I actually like using all of your attributes for saving throws. And I like this breakdown. Just for me, I like this breakdown. Use strength to resist paralysis and constriction. Use intelligence to resist arcane magic and illusion. Wisdom to resist divine magic. Confusion, which makes sense because it's the antithesis of wisdom. Gaze attacks, polymorph. Now, these are interesting. Polymorph and petrification fall under wisdom, huh?
That's weird. Polymorph and petrification, in my opinion, should be under Constitution because it's a body-changing event.
Yeah, same here. Interesting. But let's see, dexterity, breath weapon, traps, because you're trying to dodge out of the way. Fireballs, I'd also, fireballs, dex, constitution, disease, energy drain, poison. Again, all makes sense. Charisma, death attack. Wow. Power word kill or the thereof is charisma.
See, again, charisma.
You are too cute to die. No, it's
I'm having trouble attributing any of these things to charisma.
Well, charm and fear, I can get that.
Nope.
But
nope.
Well, because you're looking at the other side of it. Yeah, that'd be wisdom.
Actually, no. Wisdom is not the same as willpower.
That is true. That's right. You're right.
So
glad you brought that up.
I get that, but death attack? Like you can like pretty your way out of a death attack or talk your way out of a death attack?
I'd say it's more presence than pretty.
All right, your power of
Not
presence
that it
will stop that death attack from effect.
Yes. So here's what I did in my game, in the game that I'm writing, because I only have 4 attributes, not 6, is I combined wisdom and charisma into wits. So it's that willpower, that will to live, your quick-wittedness, somewhere in there fits with death attack, I guess. Or you know what? Let's not have charisma always be a dump stat, because I'll just start power word kill and finger of deathing.
Yeah, you know what? I understand why we have some problems with this chart.
It doesn't matter.
No, let me explain. I think we have problems with this chart because they didn't want to create a dump stat. They didn't want to create an automatic dump stat.
Yeah.
And the one that I see that is easiest to become a dump stat is charisma.
I mean, to be fair, I don't have a problem with any of this, but yeah, trying to justify exactly why it's in there, but I'm not going there. I like the way this is broken down, even if I would have done it differently.
Okay.
So, and it talks about breath weapons, charm. Oh, hey, maybe hold on. Charisma, death attacks. Death attacks are rare, and only a few monsters and rare artifacts have them. In most cases, death attacks allow the victim to make a charisma save to avoid the effect. Okay, it doesn't say why.
Yeah, it doesn't say. I'd love to know why. I want to know your thoughts on that, and your justification for your power of personality to bypass a lich's finger of death. I'd love to know that.
All right. Combat. Guess what? We're done. We're done for today. That took way longer. Don't I say this every week now?
Yes, you do.
It took way longer than it was supposed to. Oh.
So next week we're doing magic and then combat, or are we doing combat then magic?
First one, then the other.
Okay.
I mean, right now the plan is magic next week and then combat, but
change it.
Yeah, we could change it. But that's what so we have 2 weeks left. Section on combat, section on magic. Apparently my wife is trying to drag a cat in here. And let me stop sharing that. Sorry for all the issues. I mean, this also was delayed because of my computer issues and so forth. Seems like things are working now, though. You don't want to know what my fix action was.
No, you're going to want to rewatch this for all the times you were gone, and I was bad-mouthing the hell out of you.
Yeah. You know what? Right. I've been bad. Worse things have been said about me by better people, so there.
All right. That was mean. I feel hurt now.
Why is that background up?
I don't know. I didn't do it.
Got all the books.
That's fine. Because it's segment 1, baby. Talking about books.
That's weird. Oh, you've got the Legion Myth logo on your screen, so that's good enough.
There you go.
All right. So if you want to read through chat while I get the second thing ready and see if there's anything interesting on there from people's.
Crafty says charisma is also a force of personality or presence. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I don't think I could, personality or presence myself out of a death attack. Doesn't make any sense to me. But again, before I make a final judgment on that, I want to know their logic behind it. That'd be great.
Because none of you are sports ball fans, the Vikings beat the Packers with a last second kick.
That is called pure luck.
It's called, that is called that the Vikings for once didn't want to lose worse than the other team.
Yeah.
Where did I put this stupid? Hey. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Anything else interesting in chat?
Not really.
I am going to put the link out here for, oh crap, I don't have Discord open.
Link out here for what?
For some of the other peoples that we know. Let them, if they want to come in. I don't know, people like, Jim Bloodbirth or Biggest Geekus or Bruce or whomever might be watching.
Where would you want me to put this link?
Gatekeepers.
Okay, gatekeepers, which actual section?
Oh, the private stream links
Stream links.
should be on the bottom.
Should be on the bottom. Live stream links. Okay.
There you go. Yeah, go ahead and put it there. If the one of them wants to come in and talk about this as well, that's cool. All right. Nobody cares about Aaron Rodgers.
There it is.
In fact, I wish he had COVID.
Dunzo. All right, I'm going to go refill my my soda in between our things, and we'll go ahead and throw the ending of the segment up stuff.
Oh, it's too late for that now. I'm not keeping this part for YouTube later. But yes, I will. I'm screwing up everything today. Just out of it now. Ever since my computer started acting stupid, I'm out of it. The wrong giveaway picture again. Let me just delete that one. Go away. There. Wow, it stays up even after you delete it. That's funny. So we have our subscriber giveaway. We didn't put the subscribe thing. We didn't do anything during that stream. We did everything wrong during that stream. That's my fault. For that segment. Yeah. Oh, that's segment 2. Wait, yeah, that's all segment 2 stuff. You know, I don't even care right now. I got to get my brain back on this. Let's refocus the noggin, and then we'll have a good segment 2.